What's up guys? In this video I'm talking about 10 questions that you need to ask a PPC agency before hiring them. I've had a lot of questions. People ask me, hey, what should I look for when I'm vetting a PPC agency? So I wrote a bunch of questions down that I usually ask when hiring an agency or usually any other consultant. Welcome back to the channel. If you don't know me, my name is Mina, aka the Egyptian Prescription. I sell on Amazon, 7-figure supplement seller. I have MMA Nutrition and a few other supplement brands out there. You can look up Hydrolyte if you want. But yeah, if you watch this video until the end, I am going to go step by step into every single question that you need to ask a PPC agency before you hire them, because it's very important to know who you're getting in bed with, especially with PPC, because for me, I think PPC is very, very, very important for Amazon, and I think it's sort of like the engine that drives your business. Unless you have like an influencer-based model or something like that where you're driving external sales, internally on Amazon, PPC is going to be huge for you. So the first thing to ask yourself is, am I at the right stage? The thing to understand with PPC is PPC drives discoverability, but it's not going to improve your conversion. So first of all, make sure that your conversion is optimized. Make sure your listing is good. Make sure you have the right images, good reviews, all of these things. Obviously, you don't have to have amazing reviews right off the bat. You don't have to have 1,000 reviews right off the bat, but at least have a few reviews. Make sure your listing is optimized before doing that, because once you start really pushing hard on PPC, it's gonna scale how many people see you. And once it does that, what's gonna happen is that a lot of people are gonna see you, and if your conversion rate is low, you're just gonna get negative results and you're gonna spend money without seeing a return. So first of all, make sure that you have a good convertible listing, and on top of that, make sure that you're in the right stage to hire a PPC agency. Just because of the fact that if you're early, if you're still making under 20,000 or 30,000 a month, and you hire a PPC agency, it's going to be very hard for them to drive a lot of good results for you. So that's the first thing. Second thing you want to ask your PPC consultant is ask them for their credentials and why they do this. So it's very important to ask them for their credentials. Asking them for their credentials basically is going to give you like sort of a resume. What are these people about? What do they do? Where they've had previous success in? And ask them why they do this. I think that's a very, very important question, because it shows character, right? If someone says, hey, I do this because I really want to help people and this and that, you can tell that's a load of bullshit. But if someone says, hey, listen, like I found that there's a big opportunity. I used to come from Google AdWords, and I found that PPC was very similar, and there's a huge opportunity and not a lot of people doing the service. Okay, now that's a more convincing answer. Second thing is, do they have similar clients? A very important question to ask. You don't want to hire a PPC agency that handles like 7- and 8-figure clients if you're only a 5- or 6-figure client, because it's going to be very different. You don't want to hire a PPC agency that's used to big brand names, right? All they do is like Dove and like Pepsi and things like that, and they handle PPC for brands like that, and then have them handle your brand if you're like a small private label company, because it's very different. These people are being searched very heavily. You're probably not being searched specifically by brand name. Ask them for success stories and why they're successful. That's going to show a lot. It's going to show how they've had success in the past. And if you notice a common trend that the success in the past has been something that you personally can achieve, if they say, hey, we found this client, they were not using brand searches, they were not bidding on their own keywords. For example, they were not bidding on Hydrolyte or something like that, which is the product name. And we were able to drive a lot of traffic. We were like, well, okay, I'm already doing all of that, so are they going to be able to drive a lot of PPC sales? And then a very important thing is, ask if you can call them. Say, okay, great, you've had a lot of success, can I call these people? And that's going to show a lot, because if you're a good agency, you should be fine with saying, yeah, sure, I'll share some of the people. You go back, you say, hey, John, these people are trying to hire us. They're asking for some success stories. Can I give you your number so they can have a 5-minute chat with you? Yes, great, thank you. They give you the number, done. And you call 3 people, you say, hey, how were they? Were they responsive? Were they good? What do you think? Would you go, if you went back in time, would you have done business differently? All that stuff. You can ask all the good questions. Next up, you want to say, what are 3 clients that you failed with? And then that is going to show a lot about the agency, because if you ask them about 3 clients that they failed with, it's basically asking them, hey, I want you to prove to me that you're able to take accountability. If all they say is like, yeah, we hired this client and he wouldn't listen and he would this and he would switch up on us, he would do his own stuff, in the back, or his listing sucked and we couldn't drive a lot of sales, then that's sort of like you want to stay away from that kind of person. If they're like, yeah, we've had a couple failures. There's one time where we underestimated what we could do. This client was doing this and that, and we said that we were going to do this, but we weren't really able to achieve it. And so maybe now managing expectations is something that we do more. That's something that's going to show you this person is accountable. They're willing to say that they made mistakes and all that stuff, and it's going to show a lot about the character. Next is ask them how you can measure success. Very, very important one, but asking how I can measure success is going to be a key point, because when you ask them how you can measure success, you're basically putting them on the spot to say, hey, I want you to tell me how you're going to succeed in this position. And basically by doing that, there's say, okay, in the first month we're gonna aim to do this, in the second month we're gonna aim to do that, third month we're gonna aim to do that. Okay, great, that makes sense. But if they can't say, or they say, oh, PPC depends on so many things and so many factors, all that stuff, then you know that you're talking to someone who's not really up for the job, that they're not going to take accountability, responsibility for their actions. So that's why I don't recommend someone who can't exactly measure success. And also, when you can put success on pen and paper and say, hey, success to us means that we are increasing your sales every month by at least 15%, while either maintaining or decreasing ACOS by up to 5 to 10%, or let's say up to 5% a month. Someone who writes that down, that's something that you can trust. It's a paper, you can go back to it. That's important. You want that kind of response. Time frame is very important. You need to ask them, what's the time frame? What are we looking at? Because I've worked with agencies, and unfortunately I didn't specify the time frame, and 1 month became 2 months, became 3 months, became a year, and obviously it's like, okay, at that point we're gonna have to let you go, because we've given you ample time to do everything that you were supposed to do, but you didn't. And those kind of agencies will probably blame you, and they're gonna come up with a lot of excuses. So you want to stay away from agencies that give any excuses right off the bat. And you also want to have a solid time frame where it's like, okay, month 1 we're going to do this, month 2 so by month 4 we should have these results, or at least close or getting there. And that's something that's going to comfort you. Ask them, what are the updates and how often do you update? So ask them, what are your updates like? Are you gonna give me updates on what my ACOS is and things like that, which you can already see, or are you going to give me a more in-depth update? Say, hey, we added 100 keywords to this campaign, we extracted that, we put them in here, we did all that, more in-depth, or is it just going to be high level? And then ask them if they're going to educate you. So that's another important thing. And a PPC agency that's based on educating their clients is always going to be a very successful one, because they don't have that scarcity mindset. PPC agency with a scarcity mindset, where like, oh, like if I educate you, then you're going to take all of like my knowledge and secrets and then do it yourself. But that's not the point, right? Because to me, like as a successful CEO of a big company, I'm not going to be doing PPC, right now I'm doing PPC for myself, but a year or 2 years down the line, I want to be able to hire someone that I can trust to do PPC, but I can overlook them. I don't want to be a CEO that's doing PPC the rest of my life, right? Having an agency that has that scarcity mindset, that's not good. You want an agency that's like, okay, yeah, sure, every week we're gonna hop on the call, we're gonna explain how things work, we're gonna say, so we extracted these keywords and we broke them up into 3 campaigns, because in one campaign, one keyword had a high search volume, the other ones had low search volume, so they were bullying each other, things like that. You want to be educated. It's going to be in your best interest, because when you're an informed customer, you're a happier client. Ask them if you can meet everyone on the team. So that's a very, very important one, because you don't want to meet the sales guy, right? And then the sales guy then says, okay guys, we got a new client, and then there's a bunch of people on the team you've never met, you don't know how they operate, you don't know how honest they are, all that stuff. So when you meet a salesperson, say, hey, can I meet everyone on your team who's going to work on my account? And again, that's going to show how transparent the agency is. It's going to show a lot about the character of the agency. Very important thing. And then once you have them all in a Zoom call or whatever, in a meeting in a room, if you're big enough, then you can look at them and talk to them one by one, and see what the team dynamic is like. Is it going to be one guy does this, one guy does that, they don't communicate? Or is it more of a conveyor belt system? Or how does it work? Are they all working on the same thing? Is 1 week it's this person, 1 week it's that person? Very important things to ask, and think about when you're hiring an agency for PPC. And then the most important thing is asking them what their cost structure is like. I know some very good PPC agencies that will charge you a flat rate. I know some very good PPC agencies that will charge you, a smaller rate, but will take a percentage of your sales and so on and so forth. Personally, I think that agencies that tend to go more with the percentage, and it's going to be the percentage of sales, not spend, is a more successful one. So I've had agencies where they're like, okay, we're going to take like $1,000 and 12% of your PPC spend. I'm like, well, that's easy, right? Because I can just launch a bunch of very competitive keywords, bid like crazy, not drive any good traffic or good sales or have a good ACOS, and then, your fee's gonna be massive, right? So you want someone who is motivated to make you more money. So having a cost structure where if it's either completely dependent on sales or partially dependent on sales, partially a flat fee, is going to be important. So cost structure is important. Make sure you have that up front. Make sure everything isn't pen and paper writing before you hop into anything, because when everything's written down, when the scopes, expectations, all of that stuff, you're gonna avoid a lot of heartache. Trust me, guys. I've had pretty much my heart broken and my business messed up multiple times by so many different agencies. I've hired consultants, I've hired this, I've hired that, and everyone's gonna promise you that they're gonna do amazing, and everyone's gonna show you case studies and be like, hey, look at this person, I did this. Look at that person, I did that. I made this guy go from 10,000 to 100,000. Well, I don't know, maybe that they launched 3 products that month, something like that. So you never know the full story. So make sure you ask a lot of questions. Make sure everything is on pen and paper, written down, expectations are set and expectations are met. And you follow up and you're updated and you're educated. And all that's just going to result in a good, beneficial, mutually beneficial relationship between you and the PPC agency. And you're gonna make more money, they're gonna make more money, everyone's gonna be happy. So thank you for watching the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope there was a lot of good knowledge in the video. If you liked it, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe so you can see my future videos. I also have the foundation series. You can start watching the foundation series by clicking up here. Basically, I'm gonna be covering PPC start to finish, A to Z. It's gonna be at a high level, obviously, and not as in depth as in the PPC course. But if you are interested in taking the PPC course, where I go super in depth, everything's broken down. I mentor you, I coach you until you pretty much master PPC. Click the link below, and if you message me, I'll probably just give you a discount or something. Hope you enjoyed, guys.